Hello everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and this video is going to be all about the Mobius camera, which I use on the Lakeside, and that's typically how I would run it. It's just velcroed to a little truck and is pushed by whatever locomotive I'm using at the time, normally the Class 24, the Sutton's Class 24. And it's fine, that's great. You know, we see the head-on view of the track as it's working its way around the layout. But I've been having to think about this. I use the Mobius for the head-on, and I use the GoPro when I want a side view looking through the coach window. One thing which has been intriguing me is how I can get a view as if you're travelling on a coach and you pop your head out the window, and what you get is a view down the side of the coach going towards the loco. And that came about primarily because I've seen so many videos of exactly that, where people pop their camera out the side of the coach and take a shot. And I thought, wouldn't that be cool if I could replicate that? But obviously, this is held on with with Velcro, and I can't really sort of position that. If I positioned it like that on the side of the coach, then obviously the angle of the lens is going to be that way round, so it's going to look a bit odd, isn't it? So I can't do it that way. However, with a bit of searching, I found that the Mobius is actually a quite an adaptive little camera, and you can get all sorts of accessories for the Mobius. Now, some of you may already know this, but I didn't. And you can get different lenses. Now, the one I've got in here is what they call the standard, so it's not the big fisheye lens. Although if you go into the settings, you can make it that. This is, I think they say it's the 12mm standard lens. And then you can get the fisheye lens and so forth, and you can swap the lenses over. Not only can you swap them over, but you can get an extension cable for the lens. So in effect, what you do is that you take this apart, you take the lens out, you pop an extension cable inside and attach it to the lens. So what you'll end up with is the box with a lens, this lens, on a bit of cable. And I thought, how cool is that? Because then what I can do is then I can attach the lens here, just the lens, to the side of a coach, or just in a bit, and have the box somewhere else on the coach. Easy enough for me to still obviously operate this lot. Obviously I can't have it on the roof of the coach because that's going to hit tunnels and bridges, etc. So it's going to have to be on the side somewhere or on the back. So that's what this video is all about. I have not done this, so this is going to be live on camera, if you like. So we'll see what problems we come up with. It should be relatively simple. So let's give it a go and see what happens. So the first thing to do is that I've got mine mounted on this little bracket here, so I can slide that off for a start, he says, easily. Yep, there we go. So just pull that off. For those of you who've got a Mobius, you may not have fitted that on there. So that leaves you the basic camera. And you will see, just up here, there are two holes, and those two holes have got very, very small Phillips type screws in it. And you have to release those two screws. So first of all, let's do that. pretty tight. That's coming undone. That's one. And one is in deeper than the other one. Right. Let's turn it off. I've just turned it on by mistake. Right. So now that should come apart, which it does. Now you will see that on the front of the camera there's normally a white seal that has to come off because you're just going to tear it. But if you take that off first, then it saves a whole lot of issues of trying to separate the case. So you just lift it up. Trying to see what I'm doing here. And take it off. And there is a ribbon cable I can see. So I need to move that. Right, so that is the bottom of the case. Let's put that down there, put the screw inside. One screw is left inside the camera case, if you can see just there poking up, and the other one came out. So that's the inside of the Mobius, and you can see that this is the lens here which just literally pops out, but it's held in by this ribbon cable which is underneath the battery. So I need to take the battery out, and that has just got a little cable with a clip in it. Right, so that's the screwdriver. That's the battery disconnected, just there. Now I need to lift up the battery, which is held on with some tacky inside. Just be very careful where you're poking and prodding this, because you've got a circuit board underneath there which you don't want to damage. And then just peel the, okay, it's a little white tacky double-sided sponge thing. Okay, so that's the battery out. And there you can see the white double-sided piece of foam just here. From there you can now see access to the lens. And what we need to do is to disconnect, I think, this lens, this cable, this ribbon cable, disconnect that from this terminal here. And if I zoom in, you can see just here is a long a long black bar, which is actually like a little clamp which clamps the ribbon cable to that white connector. So I have to lift that up somehow. Oh. Let's turn that up that way. This is a bit fiddly. Excuse the fact that I'm not showing you this, but it's difficult to do it as it is, let alone show you on camera. But I'll show it to you in a minute if I can get it up. Right, just talk amongst yourselves a minute. There we go. Yes. Right. So that little black bar you see here is the clamp. You can see it moving. So you just have to prise it up for it to release that ribbon cable which was there. That now leaves you the lens, complete lens, with the ribbon cable attached. Don't try to remove or unscrew. Let's get this in focus again. This lens here screws into this part here. If you turn that from this, you will alter the focus. So that must stay as a pre-factory set lens to do with the CMOS at the back. So whatever you do, don't turn that lens because it will go out of focus. So now what it is a case of, here is the new extension cable. I think that was about £8, £4 to £8, can't remember. I will put the link in underneath the description of where you get this from, and it has exactly the same fittings as what was on here. So the only thing I can assume is that this section has got to go to the lens, by raising that black bar. Not the easiest things, I must admit. It's difficult to know whether these things are in or not. Right, try again. Can't get it. Crikey. This is really stiff. I can't see how that goes in. trouble is, this is so delicate, you don't want to push too hard in case you break it. Oh, it's got it. Right, yeah, so that's in now. So that's one section done. And now all I've got to do is put, is put this one inside here. Right, well that was a lot easier than the first bit. So that's now inside that original terminal. So that is now a flexible lens, assuming that it works, of course, which we can try in a minute. So what we'll do is pop the battery back, which was that way round, back on its sticky pad, put the connector back in, similar to the little connector you get on the Hornby tenders, but I think it's only a 2-pin rather than a 4-pin. And then put the cover back on, and when you put the cover back on, there are two little tabs here and here at the back which have to go in first. So the operation is to put it in the back first and then tilt it down. Right, I think what I'll do is pop one screw in first, and test it. Guess I might as well put the other one in while I'm at it. It's only a screw. Right, so I guess the test will be to switch it on and see if I get some flashing lights. So power. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, I've got the yellow light. And if I connect this gizmo up here, to this, I've got an external monitor. Whee! Now I don't know if you can see that. I'll point it at me. There you go. So that gives me all the options I could wish for. So now I've got a lens which is totally movable. Now the theory, that's the right way up here, as I've got it here. So theory is, if you imagine that as your camera or your head poking out the window of a coach, I've got to place that against the side of a coach, and or just inwards a bit, because you quite often see the window frame is within the camera area, which I'd like to capture as well. So here's the coach I'm going to adapt for it. And so what I will do, I will try and mount the camera just here and see what happens. And it could be, I'm just looking on this monitor I've got here. Yeah, I'm actually seeing the side of the coach. You can't see it here yet, but you will do. That's it. So now it looks like I'm looking down. That's perfect. I'm looking down the side of a coach. So all I've got to do is to cut this area out here and mount with some black tack, something like that, mount the lens on the side here, and then hopefully this can bolt to the other side. That's the theory. I can't bolt it to the roof, it's too high, but I can bolt it to the side, or maybe even take the roof off. Oh yeah, that's a good possibility actually. Take the roof off and have that inside the coach. So you imagine it like that, but inside the coach. So I will have a play with that and see what happens. I don't know if this roof comes off actually. I'm sure I'll find a way. Okay, so that's the first part of the video. So the second part will be after I've installed it in here, and then we'll take it for a whiz round lakeside and see how it looks. Okay people, that's about it for the moment, and I'll catch you later. So bye for now. Okay, it's all back together again, and as you can see, a bit of a lash up initially, but I'll tidy all this up. But I'm wary of how long the video is getting, so it's just going to be a very, very quick add-on at the end just to show you. So you can see that I've cut this area out here, and I've just got the lens placed on the side. If I can get that in shot, there we go. Held in with black tack for the moment. It's quite sturdy. That's not, oh there, that's not moving. And I've looked at it on the viewfinder, and that's given me quite a good shot, although this area here is a little bit out of focus, but obviously anything in the distance is in focus. Being a fixed focus lens, then there's nothing you can do about that really. And the workings, I've just taken a piece out of the roof and it fits in perfectly as regards height. Now hopefully that's going to be low enough to clear the footbridge, which I'll have to check tomorrow. It's too late now in the evening. But I think looking at it, it's not a huge amount higher on the roof line. And I think I've got enough clearance for that. So if I want that turned round, in other words, so that's going that way, so it's going to be, if you like, on the platform 2, shall we say, it'll be going that way, so the platform is this side. I can obviously turn it round, but then it's going the wrong way, so it'll be a case of just taking this off and turning it through 180 degrees, and then I've got it going that way. I've got to be a little bit careful though, because, oh, excuse me, because I've got people quite close to the platform edge, and it may knock some of them. But I won't know that until I just hand roll it along the platform side to see the kind of clearance I've got. And I won't do that until tomorrow. Anyway, that's the initial setup, and all I have to do is lift it up, and I can operate all these here, power it on, set the video going, and then just put that back inside. Let me bogey around. Pop that back inside, hook it up, ready to go. I'm sure it will work. I'm sure of it. But I say I'll give it a go tomorrow and see how we go. I have taken out the seats and the glass. They weren't required. Because obviously I had to fit this in. But yeah, see how it goes. Okay, that's it. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye. Hello again everyone, and I'm sorry that this video has taken up nearly half an hour. It's just something which you can't really rush. So I've done the tests as far as I need to go, and it's worked out very well. Obviously it doesn't focus right up close,
like the other cameras I've got, but it does get into very, very small places which you just couldn't do. And you know, the shot I just took of the station just down there, that was something I probably wouldn't have got with my other, or the camera I'm using now. Maybe with the iPhone, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, even when that is in its normal position where the lens is back in here, I doubt very well. No, I wouldn't be able to get that on that platform there, not because of the people, the lamps, and whatever. So I think that's worked out very, very well. It's I say, another little tool to aid to the videoing, and that's really all what I was after, to be honest. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I will put a link in the description below where I got this cable from. So I can't remember how much I paid for it. I think it was either £4 or £8. It wasn't very much. If you should want to go ahead and do it. Okay, folks, that's about it. And I will speak to you again soon. So bye for now. Bye.